So a very good evening and welcome to this video on the Zoom F6 and the Ambisonic mode. So in order to get started with this, what we need to do is just come over to our burger menu. We'll tap that and then go up to Input. Press OK. Link settings. Input link. And then you can see here, I've actually already selected my Ambisonic mode. So let me just turn that off. And now you can see all I have are individual mono channels selected. So let's go down and turn the Ambisonic mode back on. Okay. And then that's it. All four channels are now linked. So when I change the gain on channel 1, that will be reflected across 2, 3, and 4. So we can have a consistent gain across the board. So what we want to do now is just go to our settings and decide which format that we want to record in. So by default, it's set to FUMA, but you can also have Ambisonic's A, which is the raw audio, or B format Ambix. Ambix is probably the most popular and most widely used, so you're probably best off sticking to that. So now we've done that, we may want to consider our mic position. So if you are recording in anything other than upright, you just need to select here, upside down or end fire. Do make sure you match that to your position of your microphone before you start recording. And then let's go to our rec settings. We can change the sample rate to 96 kilohertz. And of course we can change our mode or our resolution. I usually record in 32-bit, so that's what I will select there. We can come back out of here. We can turn on our channel 1. And now we have all four channels activated, and you can see there when I'm twiddling this number 1 knob, the gain goes down on all four channels or it goes up. So we have, by using the Ambisonic mode, we've linked all four of those channels together to get us that consistent gain. Now, if you do choose to record in 24-bit, there is a very slight difference in what is happening, because by default, in anything other than 32-bit float mode, these dials here, these knobs, are actually used for your fader. So that's for your left-right stereo fader. But in 32-bit mode, these are actually used for your gain controls in 32-bit mode. So if we go over back into our record settings, I'll just show you now. And if we choose linear 24-bit, come back out, and you will see that when I move this, my gain settings on channels 1, 2, 3, 4 will not move. It will literally just be the LR and line sections that will change. So this, in 24-bit mode, this will not change your gain settings. If you want to change your gain settings, what we need to do is tap the tick or PFL button, and then we come down to our trim, press OK, and then from here we can change our trim. And of course, as I've just said, that will still be consistent across all four of those channels there. So always consistent on the gain. So that is how we activate the Ambisonic mode, and that is the difference between 32-bit and 24-bit. So you just might want to make note of that. Okay, so we've now completed our activation of the Ambisonic mode. But if you're someone a bit like myself and would prefer to record the raw audio for yourself to edit in post later and convert that from A to B yourself, and you would like to do that with individual files and not the single multi-channel file that you're forced to use in Ambisonic mode, then what we need to do is just go over to our menu again, and then go to input, then come down to link settings, go back to input link, and just make sure the ambisonic mode is turned off. We can do that just by highlighting, say, that number 1, clicking OK, then the ambisonic mode will all be turned off. So then we can go back, and then we can go down to rec. Then we can go to file format and just make sure monostroke stereo is selected. Once you've done that, you will then get the recordings in your SD card as separate files rather than that one poly file. So once we've completed that step, if we just go back and we go to output, this part is purely optional. This is just about the headphone routing. You don't necessarily have to set this up, but I like to do it anyway. I like to choose the pre-fade option, and then I like to kind of try and set this up to reflect my capsules on my Ambisonic mic. So number 1 is front left up, number 2 is front right down, number 3 is back left down, and number 4 is back right up. I just find doing it like that gives me a little bit more directionality as well in the monitoring. So if that's kind of the thing that you like as well, then maybe just give a little bit of a play around and see what you can come up with. You might find something that suits yourself. So I'm going to go back now. And then what I'm also going to very quickly do, again, this is actually optional, but I'm just going to go into metadata, because I like to try and keep as organized as possible when I'm doing recordings of different microphones and things. So I go into scene name, and then I choose the mode username, then I hit username underneath that, and then I go to edit, and then I can type in whatever the name of my recording will be. In this case, it's Ambisonics. So when my recordings are created, it's going to be called Ambisonics _001, 002, so on and so forth. That's just purely optional, and for me, it just helps me stay a little bit more organized when I'm recording with different microphones. So the other thing you may want to do, lastly, is just actually coming back up to input and linking up our gain controls. So if we go into link settings and then trim link, then what we can do is just tap on channels 1, 2, 3 and 4, make sure they're highlighted blue, and that way our gain controls will all be linked, but only in 24-bit mode. It's not available, I don't believe, in 32-bit mode, only in 24-bit mode. So if we just quickly come out of this, and I'll show you that. So we've got our 4 channels activated. If we go and press PFL and we come down to our trim link, and then let's say we change it to 46, go all the way up to the top, so that's highlighted there, and then we quickly cycle through these. So you'll see 46 on 1, 46 on 2, 46 on 3, 46 on 4 as well. So that's all linked together in 24-bit mode. Unfortunately, as I say, not available in 32-bit mode. So that's going to be pretty much it for this little look at the Ambisonics on the Zoom F6. If you've got any questions, comments, or anything like that, then obviously just leave them below. And if you do want to try and encode Ambisonics A to B yourself, then I've got a little tutorial up at the top there available where we walk through it step by step in Reaper using Ambisonic Toolkit. It's very simple, very straightforward, but if you just want a little bit of a nudge in the right direction, have a look at that video, because I go through everything with you. So thanks again for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. Happy recording.